Welcome to today's first Chesapeake Chat session. I'm Victoria Mulvihill, and I'm a first Chesapeake alumni. I will be helping to introduce the first Chesapeake Chat sponsored by Newport News Shipbuilding. I would like to thank this session's sponsor, Accenture Federal, for making this chat possible. Just some housekeeping. We will let the speakers present and then open up for discussion later on. You are always welcome to post questions in the comments. The session today is Alumni Chat, how my first experience relates to my career at Accenture. And I will now pass it over to our speakers, Chris, who is the CIO at Accenture Federal and first Chesapeake board member, and then Tiffany to introduce themselves.
Hi, thanks, Victoria. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. As Victoria said, I'm Chris Bjornson. I'm the Chief Information Officer for Accenture Federal Services, also a FIRST board member and a very passionate supporter of FIRST. I hope everyone is doing well. I know these are certainly challenging times, and we're all finding new and different ways to interact remotely, just as we're doing here. So I'm very excited about this new format and having a chance to spend some time with you, and also very excited to have Tiffany join us, who's with Accenture Federal, but also a FIRST alum, and have her share a little bit of her journey. Before I hand it off, just a little bit about Accenture. I've been here a few years, maybe 25, maybe not. And, we're all about building a better future, with organizations such as FIRST, really engaging and inspiring all of you as tomorrow's technology leaders. And, I feel very fortunate because we do a lot of really exciting things across the globe, but primarily in Accenture Federal, that build upon the same types of things that you all gain as part of FIRST, working in teams, solving complex challenges, working to contribute back to the greater good. Examples for us are things like helping veterans get the GI Bill education benefits that they've earned, helping farmers get easy access to crop insurance, disaster relief, conservation programs, and other federal services. We even help students and their families with the digital experience of managing their student loans so they can understand and avoid any sort of like defaults, things of those nature. And then integrated logistics for supplies around the globe for all of our embassies and consulates. So just a little bit of a sprinkle of the types of business solutions we have that are very much powered by technology, and very exciting for us to be a part of, and exciting to share a little bit about that with you. So with that, let me just share a little bit of a video clip. This is from one of the events that we were fortunate to have in Bethesda. I hope you all enjoy it. We enjoyed making it, so we'll share that and then hand it over to Tiffany to talk to you a little bit about her experience.
My turn to introduce, I guess. Okay, hey guys. My name is Tiffany Wong, and I am an alumni of Team 4099 out of Poolesville High School in Poolesville, Maryland. I wanted to share with you my journey line. Okay, it is uploading. Great. Okay, so I wanted to share with you my journey line, which provides some of my engineering experiences that I had over the past couple of years, and also associate some positive and negative, I guess, feeling towards those experiences. So here at Accenture, we have an initiative called Truly Human, and to me, that means bringing my best self to work, but also both my positive and some of my negative experiences. So that's why I want to share with you that we can learn some more from also our positives, but also our negatives here. So I'll start off it here by saying that again, I was an alumni of team of 4099. And in 2012, we were fortunate to win the Rookie All-Star Award. So we were able to advance to the national competition in St. Louis. So as I volunteered this past March at one of the regional events here, it was just a great experience just to be reminded about some of the cool robotic designs that we saw there, and just cheering along other enthusiastic and motivated students like some of you guys who are listening here today. So after graduating high school, I went on to study biomedical engineering at Virginia Commonwealth University. And I also had experience to do a co-op internship at Halyard Health, which is a biomedical device company in Georgia. There I was a quality engineer and assessing the risks involved with the feeding tube. Later that year, I also participated in Engineer World Health, which is an organization that sends students abroad to fix medical equipment. So I spent 9 weeks in Rwanda and 3 weeks in Nepal. And then to wrap up my experiences at VCU, I also participated in a senior capstone project where my team designed a device that both tracks and senses movements for endotracheal tubes. So endotracheal tubes are just devices that are put into patients to help with ventilation. And for the last 4 years or so, I've been at Accenture working on various clients, such as the healthcare.gov project, helping to implement a Medicaid transformation program. And currently, I'm working on a platform that develops and integrates various robotic process automation tools. So the reason why I'm telling you this is to also explain how FIRST Robotics has impacted me. So for me, I feel like FIRST Robotics, although it was very challenging for me because I didn't really come from a strong technical background, was a really great experience to provide a foundation for some of the subsequent engineering opportunities. So for example, I was able to take some of the collaboration skills that I did during FIRST Robotics and use it at my internship at Halyard Health. So I was working with various quality engineers from different departments, working with some R&D engineers and also the chief medical officers to, write down like all the processes and contribute to an overall solution later. I was also able to take some of the technical skills that I learned from FIRST Robotics, primarily programming and using some of the CAD designs in my final senior capstone project. So I just wanted to wrap up and say that although FIRST was a very engaging experience overall, I would also say that FIRST Robotics was an opportunity for me to collaborate on a team, build a solution from conception to testing, and to delivering a product that's similar to many of the challenges that we face in the workplace. So it was a super awesome experience, and I would say that it's just a great experience to just cheer your robot at a sports competition. It's like one of those experiences you don't forget.
Absolutely. I know there's nothing quite like being on a FIRST Robotics team or being even at a competition. It's a whole different world that you can't really explain to somebody unless they've been there and they've experienced as well.
Exactly.
Just so what other kinds of things did you like learn during your FIRST Robotics time and like journey that you used throughout your education, even now? Working. And so I know you mentioned something about CAD.
Yeah.
How did those skills develop, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of like trial and error to begin with. So I don't know if does everyone on this call know what CAD is? Chris, do you know? Okay, so
yeah, I do.
Okay.
I actually did some CAD in college, so computer aided
great.
drafting, right?
Yeah. So for our senior design project, we have to create a solution based out of like initial design, right? So we have to like create a prototype, develop like order the different materials so that we can create it. We actually use like a 3D printer at our university as well. So, I mean, just like some of the skills, I would say like collaboration is key, just like detailed thinking, critical thinking, like all of those skills, both technical and soft skills that you guys do while trying to create a solution like this for FIRST Robotics is something that's carried out like years afterwards.
Yeah, I like those soft skills that you talk about. What's kind of one of those major soft skills that you do have to use every day that you learn in FIRST? And
do you want to take that one, Chris, or I mean I can.
Yeah, sorry, Victoria, what was the question again?
Those soft skills that she talked about. I mean, they're very important, and I think it's something that we often forget about in such a technical mindset. But what are some soft skills that you find are the most crucial and the most used for
Yeah,
you?
I think, soft skills is one of those things that it's something that we all, I think, can continue to practice. Even myself, after 25 years, I continue to work on soft skills. And when I think of those, I think about, listening, strategic listening, and understanding the other side. So when you're working in teams and you're collaborating, understanding where other people's perspectives come from and what they're trying to achieve. And, the common metaphor is putting yourself in their shoes. Yeah, that's such a great way to collaborate, right? Because we all bring different perspectives and different experiences, different backgrounds, different mistakes that we've made that we've learned from. And to me, the greatest soft skill is how do you get the best out of other people? And I continue to encourage people to really think about what they're bringing to the table, what they might be thinking about that could be different than our own. Another word that kind of comes along is empathy, right? But it's other things, it's the listening, it's the interacting, it's the team building, it's all those things. But for me, I've found that the more you progress, in life and in your career, the more you can put yourself in the other person's shoes, think about where they're coming from. That those soft skills are paramount to team building and collaboration and really getting value and the best out of everyone.
Mhm.
That's a great answer. Thank you so much. Another question, I guess, that I had for you while we wait for some more to come in is what kind of projects do you all work with specifically through Accenture?
Yeah, some of the ones that I mentioned in sort of the opening, right? If you think about the Department of Education and the management of all the student loans, right? The portal interface that people log into, right? So we have been part of that. I mean, there's many teams that are part of it, not just Accenture. So I wouldn't want to say that we take credit for everything that's there, but it's an example of something that we provide to Accenture Federal Services. The GI program that I mentioned, the farmer conservation program. Me personally, just my own experiences. I grew up in the commercial side of Accenture, so I had the pleasure of being cross industries. So I had projects with E-Trade, project with Ford Motor Company. One of my first early ones was building out a call center that tracked and managed all of the correspondence mail and incidents with vehicles and helping maintain a full sort of 360-degree experience for car owners for the automotive industry. So I've had a lot of experiences across different industries, and I was able to leverage my technology background, but really in more of a business outcome sense, which I was really excited about. It's almost like every new project was a new job, when I changed projects, which I really enjoyed. I don't know, Tiffany, if you want to expand a little bit on some of the stuff you've been doing. The automation piece, I think, is probably very interesting for folks.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I studied biomedical engineering, so I'm very interested and passionate about health. So one great thing about Accenture is that because it's so big and we have so many various clients and projects, I am trying to create a niche in health and healthcare itself. So I've focused on trying to do health claims, how to implement a Medicaid transformation program. So we're going from fee for service to a more managed care model. And then currently, Chris mentioned, so we're trying to build out a capability that integrates different robotic process automation tools. And so if you think about anything that you do on the computer, whether you want to click onto a website, check the weather, pay your bills, basically you can automate that process. So we are trying to build a capability that is able to take some of those tools and then present it in a way that makes sense to the client, but also allows them to analyze their data, extract data so that they can forecast for the future. It's just really cool technologies that we're trying to integrate right now.
That's really neat. What is something, because obviously you've been a part of First Robotics and you've had your partnership with First Robotics for so long. What's your favorite thing about the partnership between First Chesapeake and Accenture?
Yeah, I would probably say just, giving back to the community, like going back and seeing the students who were in my shoes just very recently. I mean, I had a really great conversation with a couple of like female engineers who were just doing like a phenomenal job, like one leading their group to success and being like directly involved with the design and everything like that. And I mean, I don't know if we want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we've had coming from like a female engineer perspective. I was the only one on my team who was a female. So I feel like giving back to the community, trying to cheer on those people, both male or female, but just, you know, getting kids interested in STEM and then getting them excited that you could potentially create a career that's both fun, but also very rewarding for you as well. So that's one of my favorite things about just getting involved with the community.
Yeah, just to maybe add to that, I mean, I have this belief that we're all builders at heart. You know, whether you're part of the safety crew or the marketing crew or strategy or the development, software development or mechanical side of things, you know, we all, I think, appreciate that moment of, I'm not sure how to do this, to the moment of looking back and say, God, that's so easy now. And that feeling that comes over you is just overwhelming. And I just really enjoy seeing that illumination through the eyes of others and being a part of that in any way that we can. I just, from being a mentor to a judge and now part of the board, it's just, there's different levels to have that kind of impact and see that. And we all have a role to play. And that's the part that I've always really enjoyed, you know, through the 5 or 6 years I've been involved with FIRST.
Like I said, FIRST is a whole different experience for anybody who goes to the competition. You know, you walk into that first competition or your first build season, and you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. I think is the best way to put it. But it's such a great experience that you can learn so much from. What was one of your favorite games that either you were a part of or you've had the opportunity to see?
I mean, for me, I would say that, I mean, a favorite game doesn't come in mind, but I just loved how for like each challenge, there's just a collaboration effort to it. So this past year, you had to, I guess, send up that thing and balance with another teammate. I mean, each year I feel like the challenge gets a little bit more complicated, a little bit different, but I just loved how, like, you know, real life is a collaboration. It's a team effort. So you're going to be working with other teams, different people that you may not relate to, but you have an end goal in mind. So just how FIRST Robotics adds those little challenges and just always makes me smile.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, I really liked Deep Space last year and I liked the theme and I love the collaboration with Disney right now and with the recent sort of cameo experience that Dean had, right, with the Blackish episode, and the fact that it just was so much more than just his cameo. But I think every year, just as Tiffany said, the fact that they get increasingly more challenging. You know, I go back, I mean, my exposure wasn't until, you know, later years of college with robotics and what the art of possible was, and to see, you know, freshmen or younger getting the level of exposure to what's possible is just amazing to me, and it's inspiring. And so it's less about necessarily maybe the favorite, although I did like the Deep Space one. It was, you know, just the continuing building and challenging and growth that we have as a community and across the globe.
Absolutely. And a question is, what do you hope the future will hold for FIRST and FIRST Chesapeake with Accenture? Either one?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So this was the first year for us that we actually expanded outside of the FIRST Chesapeake, given that Accenture Federal, while we focus on the federal market, and that's predominantly in the DMV area, we do have a large presence in Texas, and we do have folks that are in other states, and of course, Accenture being a global company. You know, this was our first year where we actually had some level of sponsorship support in Texas. So I was very excited about that. And, you know, I hope to continue to see us build on that year on year, to continue to have more of a profound impact. I mean, it was amazing to me, you know, as a mentor to see what the students could achieve. I was even more amazed as a judge to talk with some of the other teams and students that were involved with the innovation awards and the rookie awards and all the different things that they give you a better insight into what it really takes to build a team. And it is just so profoundly similar to the challenges that we do in our day-to-day. I see a lot of opportunities there, and I see a lot of ways for us to support each other. And so I'm certainly passionate, obviously, as you can see, to continue to grow that partnership and help teams in any way we can.
Chris, you said that you've seen those teams take that rookie experience and make it something really fantastic. And Tiffany, you were on a rookie team, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of advice do you have for those rookie teams who are, maybe this first season got cut short, or just rookie teams for next season on what to kind of expect from this first world?
I'll give a short answer because I probably don't have the depth of experience that Tiffany does. So I'd love to hear her thoughts. I think for me, make the most of it, right? Everyone was a rookie once. And that's a good life lesson, right? For anything in life, everybody's a rookie, at some point. And making the most of it and bringing your passion and bringing your best always yields rewards, no matter what it is you're involved with.
And then to add to what Chris said, I would say that just, keeping to push your boundaries, just exploring different avenues. So, for example, like I mentioned earlier, I guess I was more involved with like the sponsorship side of it, but then I was also able to, review people's codes, help with actually designing the robot. So if you're interested in something, I would say just go ahead and try it. Try to find the resources who can give you those opportunities. You never really know like what you're interested in, but I feel like because I dipped my toes in those two areas, it did help me later on when I was using engineering during my career experience or college experience.
And what kind of advice do you have also for students who maybe like the idea of what Accenture does and want to get involved after college or after education?
Yeah, I think we have Allie on, who's with our recruiting area. I mean, we do have internships and things of that nature if folks are interested, and happy to share more information. I know, Allie, if you wanted to jump in and just share a few thoughts.
Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat what your main question was? Just wanted to know more about the intern program or what next steps would look like or how to get involved.
Yeah, maybe just share a little bit about what's available for students and how we engage with folks that might be interested.
Yeah. So as far as our intern program, we usually take on juniors in college. So basically you'll be doing the internship the summer before your senior year. And the reason for that is we're trying to give you the most real life, full-time experience like internship. So you're completely ready for a full-time role post-graduation. And another goal of that program is to be able to extend you a full-time offer to come work for Accenture at the end of the summer, as long as you're happy with your experience and we're happy with the performance or with your performance. So that's why our program is set up that way. But there's other ways to learn about Accenture, before or outside of that program. So honestly, we attend a lot of different campuses in Virginia. And so if you happen to go to a university that our teams attend, I would go to as many events as you can. Once you do get into college, go talk to their career services and find out when we're going to be there. We interact with them a bunch. So that's a great way to get involved. I always say it's never too early. So there's definitely people that I meet on campus their freshman or sophomore year, and they show an interest in us from the get-go. So when it is time for them to finally interview for that internship or full-time role, I know them more on a personal level, or we're more on like the first name basis at that point, as opposed to just showing up your senior year without ever talking to someone that works for Accenture. It just changes the conversation a bit. Either one works. It's not like you have to go that route, but it does help to get to know people early on.
Thank you so much for that advice. I'm sure there are a lot of people who can really benefit from that. And we're cutting short on time. I know this is such a fun time, but if you'll have any last advice before we close.
Just a thank you to everyone who's attended, and happy to follow up if there's any way that we can help. And I wish you the very best in the coming years. And while this year may have been I'll say a hiccup, but it's different for everybody in the situation. But this is just another life lesson, quite honestly, and we're all having our own sort of experiences through it. And I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And wish you all well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to add, even if if you guys are senior in high school, I think that it's also important to reflect on the time that you had for actually building that robot for 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, just working with so many different people and then taking the time to build something over such a long period of time. Like, I mean, people always say this, but enjoy the journey, because it's like one of the experiences that you'll hold on to for years afterwards. So, yep, stay safe, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Again, I would like to thank our speakers, Chris, Tiffany, and Allie, for your insight and advice, and this session's sponsor, Accenture Federal. We have a short video from them that we would like to share with you. So stay around and watch, and have a great rest of your day.